Hey everybody. So, you know, yeah, I feel a little demoralized. I mean, it's just that again, this is why the nonprofit movement is absolutely essential. And I don't know if I was thinking about it last night. I don't know if the equation I shared yesterday would really work because at nonprofit prices, I don't know if we'd be able to accumulate enough revenue to be able to pay people minimum wage. So that I might have to change that. But I mean, if you're making $60 an hour, which was what the equation showed, I mean that's plenty of money. So it's like this is the whole thing. We have more than we need. Like we live here in America, especially if anything is completely evident beyond anything else, it's the fact that all this shit, all this materialistic stuff that we have, does not bring happiness. Does not bring people closer together. In fact, it does the exact opposite. The more people have, the more materialistic stuff people have, the more they value that stuff over other people, the more attention they pay to that stuff rather than they do to the actual relationships they have. The more they just want to talk about their stuff and what they're going after and what they want and what they do, and then rather than listen to other people and their heart and what's going on with them. And that's a lot of what bothers me today. It's like the text messages he chose to send me was it was completely just his view of how I should live my life and all the things that I've done wrong. And then he ended it by saying some shit like, "Oh, I'm on top of the clouds, so I don't look down." And it's like, wow, like that just, I mean, he really, it just helped portray, like, he just helped prove it. But it's like, it's proven it to such a point to where now I'm like demotivated because it's like, man, so much of the world is just geared towards making fucking money for themselves and doing things for themselves and taking care of themselves. And they really don't give too much of a shits about anything else. And if they do, I mean, and then it's like trying to get into real solutions, like, those of them that seem to care, they talk about conspiracy theories or whatever, but like most people still aren't even like able to try to focus or brainstorm on a solution. And I'd be trying to inspire people to do that, and it's just, it falls on deaf ears, you know. I think a lot of it has to go back because we are so disconnected. We are so fucking obsessed with our own bubble. We're afraid to fucking open up and share our bubble with other people. And this is why I love living on the streets, because you don't have that same bubble. It's like you're on the streets. You got to work with your environment. If you're too much of an asshole in a place, like you're going to get pushed away. I'm not saying physically. I mean, you might, but just even energetically, just like the momentum. Like people will look at you weird. You won't get the same. I mean, you're not going to want to be in a place that's. I mean, who knows? Maybe some people want to stick around in a bunch of negative black ass fog and find yourself, sleeping next to a dumpster and a bunch of shit around you. But that's not what I like, man. I like to be in an area that people like me to be around and that I like to be around, and that's relatively clean and things aren't fucking completely messy and horrible and trashy and fucked up. So, but in order to do that, you have to have a good relationship with your surroundings and the creatures and the people that you're around. And it's like, there is this agenda to keep us hating each other, to keep us hating ourselves, to keep us destroying ourselves, to keep us destroying relationships. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't want to listen and just to appreciate and unconditionally love people for who they are. Doesn't mean enable them. Doesn't mean fucking spoil the shit out of them. It means, listen to them, hear them, try to help them out in whatever way you can. Share some good, advice, some energy. Just care. Even just doing that, just being there for somebody without even doing that. That's the biggest thing, is like, can you just be there for somebody without actually having to say anything? Like, all right, can you detach yourself from your ego that much to where you can just listen to somebody else's life and dreams and let them be themselves and express themselves, and maybe even appreciate that they're being their authentic self? It may not be what you like, but that's who they are. Let them be who they are. As long as they're not hurting anybody or anything else, then what's the big fucking deal? But it's like this dude who I've known since fucking grade school, and it's not just him. There's two of you guys who've both been doing this like my whole fucking life. You've been trying to steer me what way you think is best for me instead of really trying to get to know the real Brian. And, and it's like now I'm 36 and that's the biggest thing. Like, if we're not able to get over our own bullshit and really appreciate other human beings for just being human beings and try to look at the goodness and the beauty in them and stop focusing on all the negative, toxic shit. I'm doing it too myself, but like I got hit with some shit, so it's like I gotta like process that. And it's like I've been wanting to try to connect again with him, but it's like, I got so much stuff on my plate right now, and you're coming at, it's different if you're coming at me with like a perspective like, hey, I'm hurting and I'm sorry, but that's the exact opposite vibe that I'm getting. I'm getting more of like, I'm better than you, you're wrong, you need to do this. It's just like nothing but like this domineering, aggressive, fucking narcissistic attitude. And it's like, I can't fucks with that, bro. People who don't, like, you have to open yourself up and have some humility in order to heal. In my opinion, he is very hurt. You don't say those type of things to people unless you got some type of fucking serious darkness inside of your being. Like, I mean, I've walked in front of a taser for you, bro. Like, you know, and it's just sad. Like, you know, and it's like, you have no idea, like, how much this means to me, sharing what I care most about on YouTube, you know, and it may not be nothing to fucking you, but it's a hell of a lot to me. And that's the thing about being friends